All right, perfect. All right, guys. Go ahead and minimize that for you. All right, so this is the basic login of the Smartvue system locally. Now, Jeff, will anybody be able to kind of chime in at any time and ask any questions? Or is
For
that
questions,
locked?
if questions, they can type them in the question bar, and it'll
Okay.
pop up, and I'll ask them to you. But usually, we tend to hold those till the end of it. So.
All right, sounds great. So what I'm going to show you guys is the basic login to the Smartvue page. This is the site locally here. This is 3 or 4 cameras on one side of actually my office or the sales side of the office. So you'll be able to see how it works with a couple cameras and just get a feel for the interface. This will probably only take a few minutes. Our interface is very simple on the front end. It is simply made for end users and IT guys. All the other things that are done at a Linux level are simply done in the background, and a lot of things that you don't even necessarily have to worry about. So what I actually did there is I went ahead and I logged in with my basic credentials for this. This is one part of our office here at Smartvue. This is 2 separate cameras that are PTZ, and then a true PTZ camera here made by Axis. This is the basic layout of all the systems, which is a tile type setup. We do have multiple different types of viewing systems in the and templates in the view section up here in the top left-hand corner. Actually click on those, and we have a few custom ones here at the bottom, most of which are never used by most customers that I work with. They usually use the high bandwidth list, which is going to give them the highest resolution of the camera itself and can give them a nice clean thumbnail. When you go to the Smartvue systems, we give you basically a 320 by 240. And the reason we do that is for you to see multiple. If I had 100 cameras here, I could simply scroll. We also give the ability to click on it and go to a 640 by 480 image, which is a slightly lower resolution than what you've seen before, but it is live high-res video at a high frame rate. And then, of course, we have our highest resolution video, which is the highest frame rate of the camera, highest resolution. Now, this camera is actually one of the nicer PTZ cameras that we work with on the market. And it does have some pretty incredible features to it. And you can see the zoom and all the settings work extremely fast with this system. Reason being is we work with, from an integration standpoint from camera manufacturers, we actually work directly with the API versus some of your other systems, if not all of your other major manufacturers use a simple protocol called OnVIF, which there's some really nice advantages to OnVIF. One, it does let you use just about every camera out there that has OnVIF support. The only disadvantage of that is simply that your lack of support for the camera is limited. It only works with what the camera actually, the manufacturer says that it's going to work with in OnVIF. So you can pay $2,000 for a camera and get 3 settings. With Smartvue, we integrate every camera directly from the manufacturer's API. So we're direct partners with Axis, Videotech, Toshiba, Sony, Panasonic, and a few others that allow us to give us all the ability to do this through our interface. And I think that camera's probably out of zoom. That's probably all we got on that one. And of course, when I jump back, it jumps back to that 320 by 240 image. Go back to it, and if I just wanted to go home, and simply click on it, and there we go. So that's the basic view page. What I'm going to take you through next is a quick overview of the settings. So if you go up here and click on the little cog or the little gear, you get a drop down of all the different settings you can change in Smartvue. This is just the general server settings page. This device you guys are looking at is just a 1 terabyte device. Yes.
Justin, hold on one second. I've got some people who are having a problem seeing the whole screen.
Okay.
Do you have it maximized on your end, or?
I can go a little bigger. I'm on a really big monitor, so you should be able to see it all. And that's as large as it gets.
Okay. Let me
You made
know.
me turn my resolution down. I mean, I'm on a Mac. I'm running 2440 by like 1400. That may be a problem.
Okay, because what I got here is they're only seeing vertical lines on the screen. When they maximize it on their end, they can see it for a second, then it goes back to vertical lines.
Not sure that sounds like a problem or go to meeting necessarily. Let me double check something. Let me see what I see on my end.
I can see it fine on my screen, but just want to make sure everyone's able to see it.
Yeah, I don't know what else, to be honest with you, Jeff. I don't know what else I could do there unless there's an issue with webinar. I can't really.
Yeah. No worries.
Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and go.
We're recording at the full size, so we're recording what I know I can see on my end, so we'll get you the link to YouTube at the end of it.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. So going back to that, there is a few things in here. General settings, of course, allow you to change name, description, clip length, etc. Of course, we list your hard drive capacity, total use, and total available. Of course, we give you the option to automatically delete video. Smartvue does have a revolving recording engine, so it's a first in, first out type of setup. So it's normally not something you have to do. Of course, time and information is pretty general. Another big bonus to Smartvue is we offer update your account to update, and you don't really have to hit anything except the update button. When an update comes out, we do notify our customers. We'll actually notify you in the release notes what has been fixed, what has been added, what has been done exactly to each update, as much as we can let you know at least. And then you don't even have to update it, but if you do, you will see a software version, which is what you're currently on, and then of course you will see an available version, which is what you are or could upgrade to by clicking the update button. And that update button will usually be red when an update button is available. Of course, we have a daily reboot of cameras and a daily reboot of server. If you choose to use that feature, it is available to you. And then, of course, licensing. Something Smartvue does that no other company does that I'm aware of right now, at least prior to ISC, is simply that we don't charge for licensing here. So, for instance, if you buy a 72 to one of our large rack mounts, a 72 terabyte server, and the system supports 100 cameras, we actually have a base model price for that, and we used to charge an addition for each licensing for each camera. As a whole, now we simply don't charge at all. So that price isn't hidden. It's not put into the system anywhere. We actually completely remove camera licenses. So if you buy a 100 camera server, you get 100 licenses with it. So that's something we introduced here this year in 2013. This is our camera settings page. We have two options. Add camera by IP, which is the standard that pretty much everyone uses. Pick the camera, of course, add IP address, serial number, and camera name. If it is found, we'll automatically assign for you. The nice thing about Smartvue is the scan for cameras button. So if it's a camera that we have integrated, and as long as the camera is reachable from the Smartvue system will actually scan for the camera, it will find the camera, it will add an IP address to the camera, and it will go ahead and restart the camera and reinitialize the stream. It does about 10 or 15 things for you that you would normally do, probably take 15, 20 minutes per camera to do. It automatically does that for you. Of course, there is no more cameras to add on this one, so nothing showed up. But when it does show up, it will do all that for you, and it'll go ahead and pull in all the settings, or major settings, at least from the camera. Settings. We actually pull in all the major settings that the camera offers through their API, so you get a much cleaner, much more direct integration. I can change volume controls, exposure, bit rates of cameras individually, and other things in the camera that the manufacturer offers. Of course, schedules is a pretty simple feature. It's really all or nothing. Of course, you can do your own tweaking as far as start time, end times, which specific cameras you can use. Ultimately, 24/7 or motion only. By clicking that button, it sets your cameras up to motion. You'll start recording on motion once you get that set up. So really only two types of schedules, really no need to go any farther on that. Patrol is a feature that is about to be removed from my understanding. It's a feature that's not really used anymore. It is more or less a carousel of the cameras, and it simply just goes through the cameras in 5, 10, 15, or 20-second increments. And then it's just going to simply patrol through them or carousel through them. nothing special, and that feature is not even really used anymore. It was designed for a guard station, and guard stations seem to be doing away with and being replaced by a lot of camera systems. So that feature is really not all that valid anymore. Alerts is a really handy feature of Smartvue. We have a couple of different types of alerts here. We have camera disconnect, we have camera reconnect, server startup, user login, and when motion is detected. The first 4 of these can all be sent via text message, or they can be sent via email, and then the last one can be sent via email and text message as well. But you can also include a JPEG image. I click right here to email and text message to your phone. So the first motion window that was captured during what maybe your motion event will actually be sent directly to your phone and to your email. So you can see the first picture, and then there'll also be a link back to the system that allows you to quickly click on the system and go straight to the system itself. No login necessary as long as you're a proper credential holder. You can set that up that way. Of course, permissions, just like any other system on the market, we do have all the standard valid permission fields. Of course, username, password, first and last, email, wireless carrier is all in here for those alerts that I mentioned previously. Of course, admin and view only are the 2 groups that are set up on this system over here on the left. And then, of course, if I only want them to view a few cameras, I can subject them to, let's say, those 2 cameras, and click there. And then in that, I can add new groups as well. Of course, all of our systems come with a network interface and a group of those settings. All Smartvue systems not only come with one primary DHCP and static port, but they come with a secondary DHC and static port. That way you can basically take a switch for your IP cameras, plug it into the secondary port of the system, and then essentially create a separate VLAN for all your cameras. It keeps the cameras off the network, it reduces bandwidth on the network, and then the Smartvue system as a whole carries the load for all the cameras. So that way you're not having to worry about, can someone see my cameras, having to put root passwords on them. The cameras are completely hidden behind the Smartvue system. So unless you know how to hack into the Smartvue system, which is very, very unlikely, being that one, it is Linux-based, and 2, there's easy. So that is a really nice feature. I only know of one other, maybe 2 other systems that use this feature, and it's not across all devices. Smartvue actually uses this feature on every single device. We support 2 separate NIC cards. Of course, wireless access point is only for a particular device, in which case that is the Q series systems right now. Those systems can wirelessly connect to a wireless network in-house or sometimes mobilely, depending on how strong the wireless signal is, and give you the ability to have wireless NVR. It's not a really commonly used feature because bandwidth on cameras is becoming so high, but it is a feature you have at your disposal. If you have 2 or 3 cameras, it'll work perfectly fine. Multi-server is a really nice feature. Let's say you have a 500 camera, 600 camera install, in which case you would probably have 3 to 5 very large rack mount systems in there, all of which are not going to be tied together. Multi-server gives you the ability to tie all those servers together simply by putting in the IP address of the other server. Ties it together here, and then you can have the ability to control all 3 to 5 servers from one simple location. Of course, backup, pretty simple once again. We support the 3 major types of local backup. USB is the most common. NFS is for a Windows type file share. This is really most commonly used in enterprise-grade servers that have Windows-only servers. And then, of course, CI, FS, and SMB, which are your standard Linux-based offsite backup directories. Those are probably used more so in a standard enterprise-grade environment, in which case Linux servers, Linux firewalls are being used. SMB is probably the most commonly one. And then, of course, we have cloud backup with Smartvue, which is not on this right now because it is just being finished up and it will not be released until ISC, so that is something I can't exactly show you right now. Of course, Command View is a new feature. that we are showing to partners. That will be available at ISC as well. And ShareVue. ShareVue is a program that we have that's in every system. It's completely available. Probably don't have any clips to share. We can probably try one. It allows you to use Smartvue from an archive standpoint. So our archive engine, which I'll go ahead and show you right now, is a clip-based system. Most IP-based companies are switching over to a clip-by-clip based system, in which case you don't have 24-hour increments anymore. You have anywhere from 10-second to an hour-long clip for every motion window or for every break. The video is flawless as far as start to end point. There's no delay. There's actually about a 2-second or 3-second layover on each video, but it's a clip-based system. So every time you download a clip, you're not having to sift through 4 hours of video, 3 hours of video, and you can do things like this. So if you notice at the bottom, in the blue lines right here, are actually motion that's captured. So if we go through here, we see there's an extremely high amount of motion. Let's say right around this time is the time I got off work, for instance. We're talking about a retail store. I come back in the next morning, I see a little bit, and then I see this massive spike of motion. If I actually click here, it's going to take me to the exact spot all the motion happened. It's going to list how many motion events are actually here, and it's going to allow me to click on that video and figure out exactly why I have so much motion. And of course, you guys can see here to the right that the curtains are moving. Someone probably didn't set the motion windows properly. It gives me the ability to take a look at that. Of course, I can speed it up, go really fast with it without any type of major artifacting or really any issues at all. Slow it back down, actually download it directly to my computer, which you'll see up here in the top right hand corner. And then of course I can generate a 256-bit encryption key for that particular video itself. And then once I go back into the video, I can go full screen. We do have the ability to digital zoom here. Of course, digital zoom is entirely based off of the camera itself. So higher megabit camera you have, higher megapixel camera, generally the quality of the digital zoom is going to be much better from an analytic perspective. And then, of course, there's your share button that allows us to simply upload that clip to the ShareVue site. And then I can simply delete the video, I can actually bookmark it, and I can leave a comment. If you notice after we back out, there's a red line saying that I left a bookmark, and there's a yellow line showing that I left an actual comment. And then of course you have your blue square, top right hand corner, that lists the amount of motion in that particular video. And if you guys will notice, down here in the left hand corner, any video I hover over will actually start playing back the video before me having to even log in or click on the video to go full screen. So from a ease of use perspective, let's just say I wanted to see the video really quickly, just kind of buzz through them before I even click on it full screen. Actually, if you guys notice in the left hand corner, all those videos are playing back. And of course, like I said, once I see something, I can click on it. And then of course, Cloud View registration is pretty simple. Normally, if the system wasn't registered, you would click register or sign in. You can tie as many of these systems together across the board as you want. Whether you have 2 systems or 2 or 3 different franchise stores that you want to link together, or you have 10,000 sites, it's simply as easy as hitting sign up or register, filling out the appropriate information and hitting enter, and then of course it links all of those systems together. So that's pretty much it for the local interface. Jeff, if anybody has any questions, I can answer them real quick before I take them through a quick little demo of the cloud interface.
Okay, a couple of them here. Earlier on, you're talking about the high bandwidth on it. How does that carry over to how much storage it takes up?
That's simply how you view the system in itself. So normally cameras have 2 or 3 different modes. Most people or most systems don't utilize them. Most companies that use any type of H.264, which is high-res video, or any type of motion JPEG video, generally only carry 1 stream out. We actually utilize every stream the camera has available. So that has really no impact on your total storage. You're just simply viewing a higher bandwidth, higher quality video versus let's say your local site has 100, 150 cameras, maybe 200 cameras. High bandwidth is going to take a large load on the machine that you're viewing it on, and then of course it's going to take a pretty large impact at the time to view all those videos. So in that case, low bandwidth may be used, but it has no impact on storage whatsoever. We still record and save the highest quality video that the camera can output.
Okay, so like for example on the 320 gig hard drive recorder, 10 cameras, how long would that take to fill up?
Well, are we talking motion here? Are we talking 24/7?
24/7 motion, ballpark.
Let's just say we do motion for 24/7. This is a standard detection range. 12 hours, actually 10 hours is a little more realistic. 1 megabit per second is pretty standard. So if we do motion on 10 cameras at 1 megabit per second, 7 days a week, you notice over here it's about 281 gigs a week, which is pretty good. So you're going to get about a week out of your 320 gig $8.99 device.
Okay, then that actually falls into another question I had. On the backup to USB, does that back up live, or does that back up once it fills up, it dumps to that?
So the backup on site is live. It's as fast as the drive can process it. So every time a video or a clip comes in, we have a internal process in the Linux system that says every time a new clip is recorded, there is actually a virtual flag that's placed on the video. When that video comes onto the Smartvue system, it's recorded in a new video, the archiving engine will push that out immediately to the backup. So normally they both back up about the same speed, which is next to instant.
Okay. And then another one that another question came in: is there an app for mobile devices?
There is. We do have the only Windows 8 app for Windows 8 phones, or Windows Phone 8, however you want to address it. We have Android apps for tablet and phone, in which case I currently have an iPad and a Galaxy 3, both of which work fine. And then we work on the iPad and all of the iPhones. And those are free apps. You don't pay anything for them. They are part of the Smartvue package, and you can actually, if you guys want, you can download it right now. You'll see the same demo I just showed you, which is part of the sales, or my side of the sales office over here. And that demo is already on the system for you to kind of take a look at, and feel free to kind of play around with the app and use the system.
Okay, and then one other one here is the advantages to using the daily reboot.
Sure. Essentially, every computer that does processes, that does low-level things like recording, uses hard drives, cameras, anything like that, it's still a PC. It's still a machine. It still needs to be rebooted on a daily basis. You know, they say you don't have to use a Mac and reboot the Mac. I have a brand new MacBook. I redo it daily versus someone in my office that got the same one, same time. Things, it's still doing a lot of work through the day. So the advantage of the daily reboot would simply be just performance, overall reliability of the system. It only takes about 12 seconds to do. So it actually reboots the camera, so it'll actually refresh the camera streams, keeping the cameras more reliable as well, and then refreshing the system. And just giving it a daily reboot is perfectly fine, and it tends to make the systems last much longer.
Okay, another one came in is how many camera models? I'm guessing it's how many camera models do you support, but I know there's a lot.
There is a lot. There is currently about 300 different models and variations of models, from Axis, Sony, Panasonic, Toshiba. We have a D-Link camera, a couple Cisco's. We're working with Aircont right now. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Axis. Vivotech being a big one, Ycam, and a company called Optica that is a new up-and-coming camera manufacturer. And of course, we're supporting more. The nice thing about Smartvue, as I mentioned earlier in the session, that we support cameras directly through an API. So the good thing about that is we support them at a Linux level, at a much lower level than most manufacturers. So if there is a camera that we don't support or we don't have currently, anytime we work with an integrator, we try to support all the cameras they do, as long as the camera has the ability to. So as long as the camera has a few specific settings that we need, a lot of times we can integrate it for them.
Okay, I think that's it at this point. You had another
right.
section you wanted to show us?
I'm just going to show you a quick little thing of CloudView. CloudView is basically what I just showed you before, except it's on the cloud. So I'm going to show you a customer of ours that does a lot of sites, a lot of multi-sites. I can log in. All right, so this is how CloudView works. This is what I was talking about, having multiple sites. Now, I'm not going to run through the whole interface for you guys because I simply just took you through it. Our CloudView application on the phones and the iPads look a little different. As far as from a Mac or a PC offsite, they look identical. The only difference is it allows me to do things like this. So let's just say I want to view all these cameras. So this is a location in Kansas City that we support. It looks like they're doing a little work on some of the cameras. This is one of the sites, one of the many schools that we can click on. And you guys to see how easily I can go from here in Nashville, Tennessee, up to our cloud to any one of these schools. These cameras are live. It looks like everyone is on spring break because no one is at school. And it gives me the ability to easily go through all these cameras, no matter how many I have, loads them very quickly, and gives me the ability to see all these cameras live in action. And I can integrate as many sites as I can. So that's really the only difference that you have with CloudView versus the on-site system, is the ability to have multiple accounts, multiple systems across the network, and basically have complete control as an integrator or a integration company over as many systems as you need to, be able to service them, support them, and take care of them. Anything that you can do locally, you can do through CloudView. So watching recorded video, changing settings, permissions, kind of get the point. All across the board, you have full control of the system completely off-site, and that's what CloudView actually allows you to do. And really, that's the only difference, Jeff, is the ability to command and control the system completely off-site. Multiple servers, multiple locations, multiple different accounts. You can see here this customer, this integrator, has done a very good job in integrating lots of Smartvue systems and cameras. There's actually a new site that they don't have control over yet. And then, of course, I can add particular permissions to an entire system or an entire facility as well, and really scale down on who can and cannot view these systems. And that's pretty much it. That's like I said, that's the only difference between on-site systems and the cloud system, is simply the ability to connect multiple sites across the web. Now, the cloud is going to filter itself based off of the bandwidth provided. So if the site has really terrible bandwidth, we can still support the system itself. However, the frame rate may be a little slower than maybe a system that has very high upload. So we regulate that. There is a watchdog in there. We're not going to crash your network like a lot of systems will use all of the available bandwidth they can. We only use what we need, and the rest is left alone.
Okay. Had another question here. What are the Smartvue tangible products, software, and so on?
So we have 3 products that we support. We're about to release another one. I can't release those details, but if you guys are going to be at ISC West, please stop by our booth and you'll be able to see the new product. So we support 3 separate, technically 4 separate products. We work on a 10-camera system, which really hits home for higher-end residential, high-end retail. We specifically don't attack retail, or not retail, but small residential or even residential at all. It's not our goal. But we really do go after the small retail, like your McDonald's, your Hardee's, your restaurants, and things like that have 10 cameras or less. These systems are $8.99 a piece. They come anywhere from 320 gigs up to a terabyte. It's kind of our base model system. It's more or less an appliance. We have a second system. These 2 systems are split. So we can actually go 20 cameras anywhere up to 3 terabytes, which is a price point that starts at $16.99, up to 8 terabytes for $35.99. Most of the time, you can't buy storage for that price. So it's a pretty good deal. We bridge a gap right there with the 20 to 30 camera model. And then, of course, Smartvue is still most popular systems are our racks. We sell countless number of racks every quarter. We probably have the best prices in the market, hands down, for our rack systems. And they start out at 3 terabytes. They actually go up to the largest rack that you can purchase in video surveillance right now, which is 144 terabytes. It does support up to 100 cameras. We've priced out storage based off of, if you were to go buy just a rack mount of this size or attempt to, it'd run you about $85,000. So all of our products come with the same software. Every software revision is the same. Every update is the same. And all devices match across the board. So if you have a customer that has 15 racks, one that has 20 Zs and 4 Qs, they all look the same. So there's no learning curve from device to device. Other than that, our cloud storage is the only other option. Every system comes with a gig free, just for you to use the cloud as itself. Here are our options for ShareView storage. It is the only reoccurring charge that we have. We don't require you to have it. It's based off of 100 gig, 500 gig, and 1 terabyte increments a month. And like I said, you don't have to purchase it. The remote viewing is still free. You don't pay anything for using Smartvue's cloud service from a remote viewing standpoint. And then all of our systems come with a 3-year full warranty. So support, shipping, technical support, anything like that is all included with every Smartvue system. And those are our 3 products from a appliance standpoint, hardware standpoint, and a software standpoint.
Okay, another question just came in. Is the cloud storage needed to view the cameras from mobile?
No, that's actually what I just mentioned. So just to use the applications and the remote viewing is free. We've never charged for that at Smartvue. We never will charge for remote viewing. So with every system comes free apps. Obviously, you can download it anytime, and the remote viewing is simply free. You don't pay for it. It's not reoccurring. All the Smartvue systems you can buy for yourself. You just buy the system. You can use the system forever. We still upgrade the system. We still update them for you. You simply just wouldn't have redundant cloud storage. That would be the only thing.
Can you add storage?
Locally or offsite? So on the Q series servers, no, you cannot add storage. On the Z series servers, we're working with the OEM company to get hot swappable drivers. So in the future, in the next few months, yes, on the larger servers, we can go to whatever max is. So if you buy a 2U and you only buy 12 terabytes, we can go up to 24, but that's it. So we can go to the limitations of the server at any time. It is generally not cheap because it is a proprietary process. They are not hot swappable. We use specific drives that we personally have made for us from Western Digital, which is why we are able to offer a 3-year warranty, able to keep the cost down. But you have to go through us to be able to upgrade the system. This isn't like an ONSSI or something like that you need specifically to just go buy the drives and it'll upgrade on its own. You have to actually purchase them from Smartvue. So
okay, so
Q
the question came in is,
sorry,
look for the S9Q. What you order is what you've got, or you can order more hard drives to add to it. It does have to be ordered through Smartvue.
From the Q is a no in general. The Q is an internal hard drive that cannot be replaced unless it's dead, or it uses a 2.5-inch hard drive. The largest 2.5-inch hard drive right now that's being made is a 1.5 or a 1.5 terabyte. They do make a 2 terabyte drive. It's extremely unreliable. So 1 terabyte is as is, and all the Q systems are not replaceable. The only way to have them replaced is have them sent to us. And that's for the Q series system right here to the left. The Z will be hot swappable very soon because that's the nature of that system. And then the rack mounts right now are hot swappable, but the way we have them made, they have to use the drives that we send out for the time being. It may be hot swappable soon just for you to be able to go buy a drive. The downside to that is most of these racks use a very high-end enterprise-grade drive, and a lot of the times you can't buy them for cheaper than we can buy them, or actually not even close most of the time. So it's in your best interest usually to go through Smartvue anyway.
Okay. Any other questions? Looks like that's it for the questions on there.
All right. Other than that, like I said, Jeff, we'll be releasing a new product. There's nothing like it in the market. It is something extremely new. I have a feeling that the price point of the product is going to be an appealing factor in itself. There is nothing close. There's probably nothing within $1,000 of it for what it does or what it's going to do. Having said that, it's much cheaper than the Q, and that's about all I can tell you. We're going to be at IC West, so we will be revealing it there. That's our big reveal. So if any of you integrators, or Jeff, if you're there, please come see me and be able to show you the product.
Absolutely. Okay, I don't see any other questions coming in. So Justin, thank you very much for everything. If anyone has any questions about this webinar, we will have it on our YouTube page, which just you can search Microcoms and Smartvue on YouTube, and that'll take you to this webinar. Alrighty. So thank you all for attending. And the last comment I got in here was thank you, great product. So thank you again, Justin, for that. Thank everyone for attending, and we'll talk to you all soon. You know what? If you guys have any questions on this, I forgot. You can contact your Microcom sales rep, or you can contact sales@microcomtech.com,